These loan deferrals initially in place for 6 months, another 4 months now. So this will be welcome relief for those that were approaching a bit of a D-Day.
Yeah, afternoon to you, Tom. And my, how things have changed since that Royal Commission into the banking and financial services sector. The banks are doing as much as they can now to assist their customers. Bear in mind these deferrals have already assisted around $266 billion worth of loans. We're talking around 800,000 customers. The banks looking to extend this from 6 months by another 4 months, but it's not going to be carte blanche. It's not for anyone who simply wants to apply. It's more targeted assistance for those who can prove that they're struggling to repay their mortgages and that they need that extra support. Here is Anna Bligh, the former Queensland Premier and now the boss of the Banking Association, earlier this morning talking about the help.
This new phase of support avoids an economic cliff for customers. A cliff would have been a disaster for customers and catastrophic for the economy. This new phase of support by Australian banks helps to turn a cliff into a series of manageable and reasonable steps for customers to get through this economic crisis.
You know, Tom, there's all sorts of pressure mounting on the government to explain exactly what's going to be happening with its JobKeeper and JobSeeker supplements to assist those who are also struggling. Josh Frydenberg continues to be out and about each morning trying to answer questions as to how the targeted assistance will work. Here's the Treasurer.
We have said we'll provide targeted support to those who need it. You know, we adopted a series of principles going into this pandemic and the economic response, and they've guided us and served us well, namely that the measures we've announced have been temporary, they've been targeted, they've been scalable, and they've been proportionate to the challenge that we face, and that will continue to be the case for any new announcements we make.
And meanwhile, an indication this morning from the Treasurer, tax cuts could be brought forward as part of an economic rebuild.
Yeah, the government's promised tax cuts. It seems, Tom, that everything is on the table. We can bring up the graphics and show you exactly how they were supposed to be implemented over the next couple of years. We're talking July 2022 and eventually with the stage 3, talking about increasing that rate from 41 to 45,000 and the 32.5% rate from 90 to 120. And then you've got the third stage tax cuts, which are currently up on your screen at the moment. Concern here from the opposition, they desperately want to know what happens with this. One thing oppositions hate is when governments flag things and they don't explain them. Here's Jim Chalmers.
We need the government to come clean. If they have a plan for JobKeeper, let's hear it. If they have a plan to bring forward tax cuts, let's hear that too. They need a plan for jobs in the recovery, and that has been absent, a point that the Reserve Bank was making this week as well. If they want to bring those tax cuts forward, then put a plan on the table, and Labor will engage with that constructively and responsibly as well. If they want to bring tax cuts forward, let's see what they intend to do. Labor has been calling for that to be considered for some time.
Yeah, Tom, as the viewers can see, we're about to take that live press conference from the Prime Minister in his courtyard. We'll be hearing from Scott Morrison very shortly.